Super busy day today. Tyler's coming, Ross is coming. I gotta get more meat chickens from a friend, and we gotta help some friends move chickens. They're moving to South Carolina. Other stuff, we gotta take care of everything here, so it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be about 93, 94 today too. We also gotta start prepping and thinking about the fall gardens and crops, because that's coming up quick. So yeah, we don't have like a lull here because we sell every week all year, so the transition from winter growing into spring is kind of hard. And now it's hard too, like all these beds that we're flipping, it's just a constant thing. And then the timing and the weather, who knows how the hurricane season is going to be. There's some serious lightning with this storm. That's how much rain just happened. So if you guys are looking at getting tunnels, this is something that I do if it's gonna storm. I take all the clips off the plastic and then I leave it about the edge of the bed high, so you still get airflow, but if the rain gets super intense, it pretty much closes itself. So you can see the nursery tunnel, that completely closed itself, which is a good thing. Now the downside to that is if you aren't home and it closes itself and then the sun comes out, which will definitely happen here, then it gets to be 100-something degrees in there and kills a lot of stuff. So that was probably 1.5 to 2 inches and probably around 50 mile an hour winds. The radar showed it just disappearing when it got here, but it actually got bigger. So know your weather. There's heat index over 100, extremely humid. In the past 4 days, we've had the same weather pattern. Radar, the futurecast has been iffy every single time too, so always err on the side of caution. Don't be lazy about it, because it will really screw stuff up. Like that tunnel there, all the carrots there for fall. So there's 2 beds of carrots in there for fall. If I would have got lazy on it, that heavy intense rain probably would have just washed them all out. Today was one of those days where 5 different people showed up to the farm. It's fine. Sometimes it goes like that. We have like 1.5 beds with compost down, and yeah, we both had to do some quick things off the farm and come back, and I got 2 wheelbarrows of compost down before the lightning started, and so yeah, it's gonna be a long day. Alright, we crushed out some work this morning thanks to help. We had Ben, Emma, Janie, Leela, and Sandy here. So the cultivating, we flipped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 beds. We did, I think Tori and I did 5 yesterday, and there's a couple more that I gotta do, and then we're hoping that it storms again this afternoon, so it rains and waters everything in. Really, I mean, this time of year you gotta plan for your fall setup, so everything that's going in now is a quick crop, and then as it comes out we can put fall crops in, which, you know, we can get back into the cabbages, the broccoli, stuff like that. So that's like in August, and so we need to start those seeds now. So let's add on to the list. I gotta go get some more potting mix from Dirtcraft. We've already busted through like half of that compost pile, so we're gonna need to order more of that. I taught Ben how to run the BCS, so that's been nice. He's been able to go over beds after we get the compost down and raked out. Alright, so this is a good example to show you guys. This time of year you get the super intense sunlight. I know it's a thing in the south. The sun is super intense. We're closer to the equator. I can't really remember this much from working up north, but most of the work I did up north in Ohio was with woody plants and not annuals, so it's really obvious right now to see this. So that dark line on the bed is this, the plastic. So I think you can kind of get the general feel that the light in the tunnel isn't as harsh as out here. You can see it's kind of shaded. When the light's this intense, the amount of light you lose isn't really that big of a deal. In the winter, when your day length is your time of the amount of sunlight you have per day, it makes a bigger difference. But for in there, it's not that big of a deal. So in here, this insect net also helps take some of that harsh sunlight away. When we run out of shade cloth, we'll use that on the salad mix and definitely the arugula. So it serves two purposes this time of year. And you can see the foliage in here is not burnt. Now this turnip foliage, which this is a different variety, but those in there are Hawkeyes. These are scarlet turnips. We had Hawkeyes in this bed too. Same thing. They just get wrecked by the heat, and especially if there's rain. And ideally we'd plant in blocks, but we're just trying to figure everything out. So the overhead irrigation doesn't really help either. But yeah, so in the tunnel, they're not exposed like they are to everything else. And it's probably obvious to some people, especially if you've grown in tunnels. But yeah, this is just good stuff. You can see the light on these carrots, way different than the light on the beets. And also with the carrots this time of year, if these guys were exposed to the rain, alternaria, leaf fungus, would just wreck the foliage. You can spray your way out of it, but we're trying not to do that. Everybody worked hard this morning too, except Addie. What's up, buddy? She's just hanging out here doing nothing, being a good dog. She comes out in the sun for like a minute and then goes back and either sleeps under my truck or under the tree or in the breezeway. So this tunnel, similar thing with the sunlight, like the harshness of the sun being off, but on this we also put the shade cloth on here. So this is 30% shade from Farmer's Friend. They send it to you cut like to fit the tunnel with these little things that grip on here. And in here you can see these carrots. So you have like more of an open foliage and the foliage is bigger, but they're just trying to make up for they're trying to make a bigger leaf to make up for the less intense sunlight. I've never grown the carrots under shade cloth like this. Yeah, they're doing okay. And having everything in here, like we have the nursery and the shade cloth and the microgreens, because it's just so hot. Like, it's ridiculously hot. They don't have a lot of soil to root into and it dries fast. So this helps take some of that intensity off so that we can still get the growth rate we want. And microgreens take like a week or so. So we need to keep that going. That's something that I wish someone would explain to me when we were getting into this. It's obvious that growing under plastic is better, but you can't always afford it right off the bat. So yeah, and granted it is plastic, and I think it lasts 4 to 5 years. So we're gonna have to figure out something to do with them when that time comes. Could use it for solarizing. So solarizing is like using the silage tarps, the black tarps, except you put the clear plastic down, and instead of a week or two, it's like 2 or 3 days, because it just cooks the soil. And maybe you have something in cover crop and you need to flip it real quick, or I don't know, maybe there's spare land and cover crop here for the bees, and it's just a real quick way, mow it, solarize it, plant something else. I don't know, we'll see. The tunnels too, they're protected culture, so this really makes a huge difference. You can even see on the peppers probably the side light hitting it, and then the tunnel, or the side sun hitting it with it up, and then the plastic sun through there hitting it. It also keeps the rain off the plants, which is really important, like especially yesterday when you get 2 inches of rain, and it beats up the foliage. We lost a bunch of bunching onions, some fennel, legit just so much rain, and then like 50-mile-an-hour winds just blew them over. So that is a ton of time and effort wasted pretty much. That wouldn't really happen in the tunnel. You gotta think too, if you want to have a farm business, in my opinion, you have to grow year round, and because people eat year round, and so the tunnels, they're a cheap, effective way to make that happen. And things you grow in them are way more consistent. The quality is higher. It's horticulture, like this is what it is. This is people coming out on the land and growing things. There's also the discussion of a permaculture and agroforestry system or setting where you would get the same effect of the tunnel, but you use trees. So agroforestry would be your cover, and then you do your annuals and stuff like beneath them or in between, and you mix the whole polyculture thing instead of a monoculture. I would love to do that, but we're gonna have to do this to fund a project like that, and the time it takes to set that up and get things going versus the time it takes to set this up and get it going, you can't just jump to the conclusion or the best this or that right away. There is steps you have to take to make it seriously happen, not just the ideology being spewed out on social media. To seriously make it happen, it's going to take time, and a project like this, just practical, so like people eat vegetables, and so it's a good place to start. And also I think as far as this goes, for being a realistic thing, getting into the agroforestry and the big permaculture installs, and really looking at a big massive land and creating an ecosystem in it that creates agricultural products, that sell. You can do wood, you can do nuts, berries, fruits, veggies, all that stuff. There's a huge investment up front, but part of my thinking is, if you can do this realistically, and Tori and I started it with our own money, realistically, being smart with money and working hard and being frugal, customers, hopefully customers still stay with us. Customers that stick with us through the years here, if you transition into some kind of growing system like that, whether it's agroforestry or permaculture and all that stuff, the customers get to be a part of the process. But you still have your veggies, all that stuff, and then I don't know, it's just how I'm thinking about it. Something that Joel South said really made sense in regards to people being like, well, you can't feed the world organically and all those things, and it was, why do you have to solve everybody's problem first before you solve a few people's problem? What he means by that is that we didn't just switch to conventional ag yesterday and feed the whole world yesterday, and we're not going to switch to organic tomorrow, feed the whole world that way tomorrow. People have to go out there and do the work. It's like really that simple. Yeah, kind of a rant, but I don't really rant on videos, but I think that one's kind of valuable. When it storms a lot and the wind blows, you get this huge, loose material here, and this bow actually gets bent in. So what we've been doing is, this is the rope they send you, and come up by the screw here, and then can you see that? Mm-hmm. This is a running bowline knot. It's pretty easy to learn, but it's like the best slip knot you can tie, because you can put a lot of weight on it and it gets stronger, but it comes untied easy. So that's on up there, and at the end of the tunnel we have the 2 T-posts holding the plastic in. I'm sure you guys have seen that. We're gonna go around the T-post, and somewhere about halfway we're gonna tie an alpine butterfly twist that. Now when you pull this back, you have a mechanical advantage and the rope holds itself tight. So at the same time that I'm pulling this, Tori's gonna push on the hoop and we'll get it straightened up.
Okay, ready?
Yep. Yeah. So we'll do that for this side and that side, and yeah, more storms are coming, so this helps make the tunnel more stable. It was really flapping in the wind yesterday. Got more storms coming.
We got more laying hens and ducks too. Our friends Jeremy and Kate were getting rid of their chickens, and so we went and picked them up last night. They're so cool. So we have like 65 chickens and ducks now, so it's nice. I want more. So the way we introduced these guys into our existing flock was we had them transported in cardboard boxes, and we just dumped the cardboard boxes out and kind of let them fend for themselves. A lot of people say you're supposed to separate them or like put them in pens, but since they were adult chickens and ducks, we just kind of dump them out and let them establish the pecking order. If they were smaller chickens or pullets or like chicks, then I would definitely put them in a chicken tractor because they can get trampled over pretty easily or picked on pretty bad. But so far, no problems. I mean, they've been establishing their pecking order like normal and doing good.
All right, Thursday, so it's harvest day. Starting with the greens, and then the roots, and then the fruits. Tomatoes, cucumbers, stuff like that. Alright, so thunderstorm and some close lightning pushed us out of the wash station. So what we've done so far, we still have to wash these beets. We've got some gold beets, bunching onions, just did the kale, carrots, kohlrabi, trying to push this stuff into summer. We did a ton of bags of arugula. There's not a whole lot of salad mix, low on that right now. That's arugula for chefs. Yeah, there's head lettuce. I mean, there's all types of different stuff. The main part of the storm's out there, but you see the rain line coming. And well, that was crazy. Dude, that
I
was
walked outside and it like lightning in case you just like
Dude, did you hear the snap though?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Oh my gosh, I wonder what that hit. I was legit gonna say there's been a lot of lightning with these storms too, so there's proof. Now that I'm done being a dummy, we're gonna get some stuff ready here in the basement, getting peppers for pepper orders for chefs, and we'll be putting them in pint containers and peeling garlic so it looks fresh and nice because it is cured now, and I'll probably prep some onions too.
I'm gonna try and save some of these garlic bulbs for the cloves, to use those to replant in the fall, just so we can, you know, save on some of the garlic costs. So we'll see if it works. Alright, so accounting tip of the week is the profit and loss statement. So just like how I was talking about the past couple weeks with budget and cost of living per day, this is basically the same thing but with your business. So it really shows you how much money you're taking in versus how much expenses that you have in your business, and then you can use that to basically see whether you're profitable or not, or like you can calculate your margins to see if you're on track with what you think you were going to be, or where you thought your margins were going to be. So this is basically what a profit and loss statement looks like. And I'm not sure if you can see that, but it's you basically have your income at the top, so all your sales or your revenue that you're bringing in. So for us, we have sales of produce, obviously. We have some YouTube income, we have some affiliate income. We got the grant for the well, that's considered income. And so I use QuickBooks, so it's like super easy to just like run these reports for any month, any period. You can run them for a month, you can run them for a quarter, you can run them for the year, and it just tallies everything up for you. So then you get your total income, and then you get into your cost of goods sold. So your cost of goods sold is basically anything that is directly related to producing your product. So for us, it's stuff like chicken feed, amendments, compost and potting soil, seeds, soil tests, any like field or job supplies that we need for like irrigation or tools that we're using to directly produce the vegetables or chickens or eggs that we sell. Stuff that would not be included in your cost of goods sold are going to be stuff like your overhead, so your utilities, uniforms, any like advertising, fuel expenses, stuff like that. So when you take your income minus your cost of goods sold, that gives you your gross profit. So your gross profit is basically what it costs you just to produce the product that you're selling. So you can take this a step further by calculating your gross profit margin. So that gives you your gross profit margin. So after you get that number, your gross profit, that's when you start taking out all the rest of your expenses. So your utilities, uniforms, all your indirect costs or like overhead costs that are used with the rest of your farm, insurance, advertising, stuff like that. So you take your gross profit minus all of your expenses, and that gives you your net profit. So that's basically your budget or your income statement for your business. So when you have your income and your net profit, if your net profit is less than what you're making, or if it's negative, in other words, you either need to cut expenses or you need to increase your revenue somehow. And just like you calculate your gross profit margin, you can calculate your net profit margin. And these are just a couple of profitability ratios that you can use in your business. We don't use them too much. Like I would probably use them more on like seed costs or like just the vegetable or like the crop that we grow in general to see if like the crop is profitable. So you take what you spent on the crop versus what you made and then see if it's profitable that way. But it's still helpful to know. And then where the income statement comes really useful is in conjunction with your balance sheet and your statement of cash flows. So I'll go over those in the future, but the income statement is important. I look at it a lot just to make sure everything is looking right when I make entries, and I look at the balance sheet a lot to make sure everything's looking right there as well. And then there's a lot of other just liquidity ratios and profitability ratios you can use in your business to make sure you're doing well.
We had some people visit the farm today during farm pickups.
Hey, this is Eric and
Denise.
We're from Perry Hill Farms, and we're here visiting Honey Tree Farms today, and we're just getting some information. We're trying to learn about our farm, and we want to come see somebody who's been in the early stages and obviously been very successful. And so we bought some products today, and we're gonna maybe go visit while they're at the market tomorrow. But just a lot of good information I got in this short time here. And on our farm, we're just trying to figure out, certain crops we may want to raise that we may want to sell. Obviously we do some salsas and jams and stuff like that, but we may get more into, selling products like lettuce and things like that. So we just wanted to get some ideas.
Yeah. Thank you, Casey and Tori, for your hospitality and showing us around. We really appreciate it.
Yeah,
yes,
no problem.
It's been excellent. So we appreciate it very much.
All right, guys. Sorry for the lack of farming stuff this week. Really busy. So much stuff to do. I forgot about the tree of the week, so I gotta come out and do that. Don't think I've done these before, but so you see this bark here? You have these horizontal lines going up the bark. So, and even on the twigs, you can see the lines here. And you got alternate arrangement. So twig here, twig there. They're not coming out from the same spot. One of the things I wish I could share through video is the smell, and if you scratch the stem or crush the leaves, it's a giveaway of what it is. But this is a cherry, and there's tons of different types of cherries, like certain species, but the genus for cherries is Prunus, and these horizontal markings on the branch are that's a giveaway for Prunus or cherries. We're gonna have a busy week next week, and yeah, getting stuff geared up for fall and maintaining summer crops and all that. So thanks for watching.